Hello and welcome back to another TheGimpWiz tutorial. In this tutorial, I'll just be teaching you how to make a really simple background, kind of like this one. This one's kind of the first one I ever did, and it got distorted because GIMP decided to freeze on me right as I was saving it. So yeah, I had to just take a picture of what it froze on and stretch it out so it got really distorted, and I can't modify it at all because I do not have the XCF. Okay, so let's get started. First, we want to open up GIMP, and we don't want to create a new file. What we actually want to do is, I know this is for PC, I'm not sure what it is for Mac, just press the print screen button. For my laptop, it's right next to F12. It should be in that little, I think it's 4x2 square of buttons, right above the arrow keys. Just press print screen, takes a picture of your screen, just press Control V, and there you go. You have your screen, it'll be the exact sizes you need, and then you have the bar down here so you can, what am I thinking? Just put a little shadow on it. So create a new layer, and you can just hide this. This is just for reference purposes, but don't delete it. You might need it later. And now what we're gonna do is add this wavy effect, like I have right here. So just with the pass tool, just click make a box. Now hold Control. Actually, if you want to, before you do that, just make a black background just so it's easier to see the pass tool. It's just a preference of mine. Just see, it's a lot easier than just looking at those checkerboards. So hold Control and just make some two wavy lines, kind of like that. Okay, so then once you have that, just press Enter. Fill it with black, doesn't really matter, we're just using this as a reference point, as we will before the next 4. So what you want to do is kind of make it the opposite, but not too much opposite. That'll just make it look too planned. You kind of want it a little random. So make that out a little bit, and you can make that in a little more, something like that. Just fill it in with black. And now we'll do the bottom too. Now make these a little higher, or a little wider, taller, whatever. And just pretty much just do the same thing, except on a different side. Let's see. Okay. There we go. Okay, once you have that done and you have all these filled in, there we go. You have 4 layers right there. You can delete this black layer. That was just for reference. Now we're going to get some stock images from online to give right in here. Just some cool spring type colors. You can use whatever colors you want. I'm just going to be using some spring colors. So I have 2 images right here of a flower and then of a nature background. So let's just copy the image. I'll leave the links to these in the description. Paste. And then stretch it out. Don't worry about distorting the image. It doesn't really matter. Might take a while to scale because it's a large. You move it under all these wave layers. And just go layer to image size. Just make it smaller. Make it faster when you do the Gaussian blur next. And then you can auto crop it even. Then go to filters. Actually, no, don't auto crop it. Not that it matters. Just don't auto crop when you Gaussian blur. Gaussian blur. Blur by about 250. There we go. We just want those basic colors in there. And it's going to be dark. So, even though we're going for spring, this part will be dark. So eventually see. There. Now duplicate it. Put this one on. Let's see. Screen. Screen gives a nice light texture. Now go for the other wallpaper. Copy image. Paste it. This one's a little bigger. So just scale this so we can get the yellow texture in there. You're going to be totally distorting this one anyway. And then layer to image size. And the same thing. But first let's duplicate this just in case. There we go. Blur by about 250 again. And now we may want this one just to give it some more extra texture depending on what it looks like with this one right here. So let's hide this. Just scroll through the options, see what looks nice. And then, alright, let's see what this. Oops, I made that visible. Let's just Gaussian blur this. Just for the sake of it. these you can lower the opacity of because we are actually getting a very high concentrated orange. Don't really want that. We could actually colorize it as well. Actually, that pretty much did it. Duplicate that. Lower the opacity quite a bit. There we go. Pretty much rid of that orange. And you can just modify that however you want it. I like it just this yellow texture, really. Not that these bottom layers really make a difference now. But whatever. We're going to keep them anyway. Okay, so there we go. Now we're going to work on these waves. So what we want to do is just alpha selection them in order and pick whatever color you want. I'm just using blue. It's actually the same blues I used for the tutorial that probably will either be posted right before or right after this because I'm doing them like right now. Don't select that. Just lock the alpha channel. Linear. Stroke down. And we want to actually see this. You want it so the dark part is toward the edge. So maybe even like, oh no, okay. Like that. Now what you can do is you can do blue on the top and green on the bottom. For what I'm doing, that's probably the best. We're gonna get it. So let's just do the same thing. Move that below it. Now alpha to selection it. Create a new layer. Go select grow. Select grow by 2 pixels. Fill it with black. Now Gaussian blur it by Gaussian blur, however it's supposed to be pronounced, by about 15. I'm sorry if the view kind of gets weird. I have a wireless mouse, laptop on a futon, so it slides everywhere. About 40 should be good. Yeah, there we go. Now I'll do the same to this one. It's black. And then press Control F. Or you could just go to Filters, Repeat Gaussian Blur. Okay, now we have the top almost done. What we're going to do is go to... Actually, let's just finish this so we can have all the Gaussian blurs done. Now we're going to go for green. So get a dark... Not a too dark green, but not a too light. Not a pale lime green. I'm using 016401 for the dark. For the light, let's go with... Well, that looks good. 259F25. So take your gradient tool, lock the alpha channel, and make it visible. Drag. And that looks pretty good right there. Do the same for this top one. Lock the alpha channel. Locking the alpha channel just helps. You don't have to keep selecting and deselecting. I just like it like that. Okay. Now do the same thing for the drop shadow type thing. It's not exactly a drop shadow, unless it's kind of like 3D, but I just like this effect a lot. I use it for pretty much everything I do. I don't care if anyone else doesn't like it. I do. You can actually put a drop shadow for it, but for this, at least, it looks good like this. Okay. Okay, now that we have all those done, we're going to add some, actually this is the same technique as I used for the brush metal effect. We're just going to be adding an HSV noise, I believe it is. Filters, noise, HSV noise, yes. Just adjust these settings. You just want it so some dots are just a little visible. So that's good. 4, 4, 12, 15. And just repeat it until you can actually start seeing. Oh, there we go. On this one, seeing the dots.